Welcome to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have got another great show in store for you today because today we have DJ Ostrom Jr., who is the founder and owner of Ostrom Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. DJ, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, Julian. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Excited to learn more about you, your story, and how you became a home services leader. So DJ, you entered the trades at 28 years old. What influenced that decision?
Well, I really enjoyed, I had some experience prior to that working on homes and doing construction work. And um, I was looking for something that I could do independently, in the future, potentially grow into a business. And um, I was also looking for something that not everybody could do. In other words, you can be a licensed tradesperson, and that takes some time. So that was um, kind of what drove me to do that.
So it's kind of a journey even getting to that decision. So what are some of those other things that you tried and were like, this is not for me, really love the trades? What did that look like?
Well, I started out in the airline industry. Originally, I was interested in being a pilot, but my vision is, I have an uncorrectable issue with my vision. So the likelihood of me getting hired as a pilot sort of faded away as I was getting out of high school, making those decisions. But I was still very interested in the airline industry, so I worked in the airline industry for several years, and really enjoyed. Um, I've always enjoyed being around equipment and machines, and so that was very interesting to me.
Interesting. What was your role in the airline industry?
Yeah, well, our title was fleet service, but I also worked customer service as well for a while. In other words, I worked at the ticket counter and the gate for a while, and then I transitioned to being outside with the airplanes. So anything from cargo to loading bags to catering to just general service of an airplane. And I worked in 5 different cities doing that. I think what really drove me to make a change is that I was working for a company that had 40,000 employees. Um, Everything was seniority based. The skills you had really didn't transfer to any other type of job. Um, and so if you left that industry, your skills didn't get you a lot of money anywhere else.
Mm.
And so, I was interested in taking more control of my future. And I'd always sort of been an entrepreneur. I had lots of small businesses as a teenager, and um, actually, even while I was working in the airlines, I was helping other guys do construction and different things. So I just wanted to take control of my life and not be sort of under the thumb of a big company who makes big corporate decisions. And I moved like 3 different times because of decisions they made, not decisions I made. And so just wanted to take control of my life.
Interesting. So it sounds like freedom and control was a big motivator behind starting your own company. And that started in 1999. Is that right? That's when you founded?
Yeah. Well, yes. So that's when I actually formed the company and went into business.
Mhm.
That's exactly right.
And what would you say was your original vision for Ostrom? What did you set out to do uniquely different than others that have gone before you in the trades?
Well, I've always been, that's interesting. So clearly, being in business, being independent, potentially making more money than I could make at a job, things like that interested me. But I think one of the things that I wanted to be different or that I valued is customer service. And so I really have, and it sounds a little weird, but I've always considered myself to be a bit of a service snob. I really, not in a bad sense, but when someone gives you good service, I really enjoy it. And even if just stopping at a gas station, right? And the people recognize you and say hello, just that sort of thing. I've always really enjoyed that. So the other thing I observed when I was learning the trade is that a lot of contractors didn't answer the phone, didn't call back right away,
Mm.
said they would show up on a certain day and didn't. Um, and that was never my thing. I really enjoyed being around the end user, so that's why I had opportunities in commercial construction as well, but I really liked the residential because a lot of times they were custom homes. You met the customer, spent some time with them, gave them a great product, and I enjoyed just doing what I said I was going to do. I would call people back. I would show up on the day I was supposed to show up on. I gave extra value. So that was just something. Professionalism is another thing that has always been I valued, right? So I wanted to, act and do as a professional would do.
So it sounds like there were definitely some things you observed about the industry, professionalism, keeping your commitments that you wanted to rectify with your brand. It's interesting to hear that you were very sort of customer service obsessed. And as a matter of fact, your brand promise, it says something to the effect of it's all about you. So what exactly does that mean? And how does that show up in the way that you service your customers?
Yeah, so it goes back to just the foundation. We answer the phone. If we say we're coming, we come. If something goes wrong, we fix it. We try to treat the customer, well, we do treat the customer with respect, and then we have integrity in what we do. So being on time, being in uniform, if there's a problem, we answer the phone and come back and fix it. Um, we teach all of our team members to build a relationship with the customer, spend a few minutes getting to know them and let them get to know you, and just do the right thing.
So it really is about doing the right thing in the pursuit of excellence in all things that you do and every touch point in the delivery of your service. That's great. You also mentioned there was a bit of a pivot, and I think you stopped new construction around 2011. So how did you decide on that? And how does that shape the way that you run the business?
Yeah. Well, we were working for a lot of builders who did new construction, and quite a few of them were custom home builders. So there was clients, the end user involved. And I really enjoyed that. But I never made a lot of money doing it. So, and then, 2008, nine were terrible for new home construction. And I needed to, pivot somehow to keep the business going strong. And I had an opportunity to meet some folks that were doing, residential service. And I started to learn a little bit from them and got interested. And so I pivoted to that. At that time, I joined Nexstar Network,
Mhm.
and which, as many people know, is a best practices group that focuses on, contractors who do electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, residential service. And so I started to learn a lot about the best practices of how to run that kind of business, and it fit perfectly with what I like to do. So, we started doing that.
And you started the business literally from scratch. It was you and no one else, right? There was no acquisition or anything as part of your story.
Nope.
Okay.
No, I work, when I learned the trade, I worked for a local contractor.
Hmm.
It takes in Virginia, it takes about 5 years to get all your licenses and become a master and have a contractor's license. And when I got that, I opened my own business and it was just me. And, you know, um, a lot of people assume that your father or somebody was in the business. And my father wasn't, but he did help me a lot. So, on those very first jobs when I needed help, I was like, hey, Dad, can you come help me today? And so he was there with me. But no, I started the business and, slowly, started hiring people and growing the business.
So I got to say that you lead a team of, I think, 100 plus now. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. We're
Okay.
right around 100 people today. Yeah.
So
20,
there's
26 years in business.
26 years in business, and that is incredible. So congrats on that success. The thing I do want to find out is that, there's some organizations that I've spoken to that are about the same age as you are, but have decided to sort of stay smaller, right? Maybe under, 20 employees or whatnot. But what was your secret to growth? How did you go from 0 to 100?
Just showing up every day. Well, I need a little excitement in my life, and doing the same thing over and over. always been a struggle for me. After doing something for 2, 3, 4 years, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, so I've enjoyed growing the business. I've enjoyed having more team members, having a larger customer base, and all the challenges that come with that, right? So there's new things to work on, new things to do, um, and so just I don't know. It seems like a growing business is an exciting business to me, and so I've never wanted to to stay the same. Even today, my goals are different than they were a couple years ago.
So it sounds like you just actually truly enjoy the process of building the business, seeing it grow, serving your customers. So there's a lot of passion in what it is that you do. So now that you've gone from like small to 100, how do you think about company culture and what makes your team great, do you think?
Oh, well, we we run the company around our core values, and our core values are all about integrity, professionalism, competence, and so when we hire people, we try to understand that about them when we're hiring people, and then if they don't, if they prove themselves not to fit those core values over time, we help them find another job. And we just try to live that every day. It's not a complex, complicated idea. It's just go to work every day and do those things.
And what does your interview process look like? How do you take the time to get to know someone who you've met for the first time and see if they actually have the core values in that snapshot of time that is that interview?
Right. Yes. Well, it's changed a lot over the years. So I no longer, am in the hiring process, but my team, they do, first a phone interview. And if the person gets through the phone interview, we ask them to do an assessment, which gives us a little more insight into their personality and their skills. And then if they get through that, then they get an in-person interview, and our HR person and the manager that needs to hire is does the interview. We worked hard to build a great list of questions to ask that give us more insight. And so it's just a process. It's no magic. I wish there was a little more magic to it that we could hire perfectly every single time, but we just run a process.
But I think, believe it or not, DJ, I think that's what allows you to scale because what you mentioned, which is just kind of the way to you now, is a process. So you said there's like an assessment, and then there's the phone interview, and then there's the in-person, right? There are some trades leaders I've spoken to where it feels a bit more kind of organic and sort of flying by the seat of your pants kind of thing.
Right.
But I think that makes a lot of sense. Can you share a bit about what that assessment is? Is it like an online thing? Is it like what is that?
Well, there's several companies that do it. The
Hmm.
one we're currently using is called Criteria,
Mm.
and it's a company that has assessments that you can use, and you pay a fee to have it, and the potential employee can log in from any computer and do the assessment.
And what is it assessing? Is it more personality, cultural, that kind of thing, or technical
It
in
actually has, boy, it's been a while since I've been in there, but it has several different things. So you can actually, like, if you want to assess like a skill, like can they use Microsoft Word and Excel? You can do that, but it also goes. I think the key for us is like the personality traits, right? So you could tell if someone has an opportunity to be better in management or in sales or um, things like that.
Interesting. So you're bringing a level of empiricism into your process, which I think is really great. Okay. Well, I know that you personally, you said that you love teaching the trades and helping people build their careers. So why is that so important to you, DJ?
Well, I feel like for myself, it's sort of like the American dream, right? But I'm not the kind of person who would enjoy studying all the time. I'm a hands-on person, and a lot of people we hire are the same way, right? They enjoy passing along skills that can change your life, right? So many people are kind of struggling around trying to figure out what their career is going to be and what their job's going to be. It's really great when you hire a 20 something year old and they love it and they get really good at it, and then they can earn a really great living and provide for their family and live that American dream, right? So um, it's something that I'm good at. I don't actually teach the guys anymore. We have a full-time technical trainer and an
Yeah.
apprenticeship process. Um, but I still get a lot of value to me personally out of knowing that we're doing that with our team members.
Hmm. So what's your pitch? What's your pitch to someone who, let's say, is considering more of a traditional corporate career versus the trades? Why trades over traditional routes?
Well, I would say that the trades are traditional. They're
Mhm.
just maybe at different points weren't popular. You tell your kids that they need to be doctors and lawyers and engineers and go to school. Um, and I think that is true for certain people. But the value that, well, just think about an example would be a hospital. So you could have the most highly trained doctors, but if they didn't have a building,
Hmm.
they didn't have refrigeration, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have clean water, they'd be working out of a tent, right? So um, I think that the things we do are traditional. They are the foundation, and it's something to be very proud of. And some, people that are in the trades and love the trades, they have real talent, and um, not everybody recognizes that, but it's really true.
What would you say about the demand for that particular skill set? You are in it, you see the world differently than other people do. So, what would you say about the demand for the future of skilled tradespersons?
Oh, there's a huge demand. Today, our focus is on hiring young people who want to be in the trades and teaching them
Hmm.
at our company. Because when let's say you put an ad out and you need a plumber, the likelihood that you're going to get any applicants at all, and the few that you get might be people who have been struggling at every job they've been to.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's a huge demand. I mean, if the other thing one of the things we say to young people too when we hire them is that, you could go to college, and we don't think that's a bad idea. And in fact, a lot of our tradespeople have been, and they take the courses in the community college so they can get licensed and all these things. But um, you're not in debt. You're being paid, and we're training you, and you have a job, and as you progress and gain skills, your pay goes up. So you you don't have to go to college to have a great job.
Well, I think that's very insightful, and I appreciate you sharing your perspectives there. So shifting gears just a bit, DJ. So this show here is powered by Peakzi. You are a Peakzi customer. So share a bit with our audience in your experience. What exactly is Peakzi?
Oh, well, for us, I mean, the foundation of it is you guys are building a website that is meant for AI to read. Uh, and that's important because customers are now using tools like ChatGPT to, ask, what plumber should I hire? What electrician should I hire? Who's going to fix my air conditioning? And uh, so that's the foundation of what you're doing for us. But there's much, much more. I love the information that you guys are able to provide for us, the insights, um, through our portal and all the information you provide us. Um, well, for example, we learned that in our marketplace, we are have the our company has the most customer loyalty of
Wow.
um, all our competitors, which really makes you proud. And then it also shows you some areas where maybe you need to do a little work. And so then you can become better. And then, I mean, you can't really fake the company that you are. So, as Peakzi is generating an AI website, what we need to have on there is really truth, right? We need to be the best so that we're picked. So that's the value that it adds to us.
Love it. So I heard AI search. So the nature of the way people search and consume information is changing. It's becoming less and less sort of traditional search, Google, et cetera, but more so these chatbots, right? LLM, Grok, Gemini, et
Right.
cetera. So how are you adapting to that? How are you becoming visible to the way that people search? And the second piece that I heard for you is the market insights, the benchmarks. How do you compare? What are the gaps similar to like looking at your competitor's playbook, right? What are the things that you can improve upon? I got
Right.
that. What would you say are some of the most significant outcomes so far you've experienced as a result of being a Peakzi customer?
Wow, significant outcomes. Well, the areas that we're going to work, right? So, one thing that we started this work at least a year ago. Our on-time performance to our first call was not the best.
Mhm.
And I mean, it wasn't terrible. However, we would tell a customer that we're going to be at their home at 8:30, and it was probably 9 before we got there. So that was an area we needed to go to work. Being on time was important. And we were able to see that we didn't score the best right through the insights. And so we went to work and we have vastly improved that. We built a process, of course, for our managers, and in our weekly management meeting, we now track our on-time performance to the first call, and I think we'll be best in class if we're not already very soon.
That's a very significant outcome. So it helps you identify through an assessment an area of the business where you can improve upon and serve your customers to a greater degree, and you fixed it. I think that is a very specific outcome. So thank you for sharing that. So DJ, before we close out here, anything else you'd like to share about Peaksy?
Well, no, I'm just really glad that we were introduced to you guys, and uh, uh, certainly I'm confident that working with you guys is going to make us a better company and make us more visible to homeowners who are looking for service. So it's it's a good thing.
Love it. So thank you so much for sharing your insights about that. So closing things out, DJ, you've been in business for 26 years. You have so much great insight. What kind of impact or legacy do you want to leave behind for your community, your employees, for your customers? Tell us about that.
Well, the reputation of being professionals and doing what we say we're going to do is very important. um, but I'm honestly a little more concerned, or it's a little more important to me that the people that work at Ostrom, build great careers, and helps them to live the best life they can. Um,
And I think that's an absolutely great legacy to leave behind. It's the people, like very true to like what you said, which is helping people not just have great jobs, but go build great careers, quality of life, making an impact. I think that's amazing. So, DJ, this has been really fun getting to know you and learning about your success story. If you would share with us how to connect with you, how to follow you on social, find out about you at your website, share with us all that.
oh, it's so easy. Ostrom is not a common name. So ostromservices.com. If you go to Facebook, look up Ostrom Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Uh, and it's easy.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to have all your contact information in the show notes as well. So, DJ, has been a wonderful time getting to know you. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
And everyone else, thanks for tuning in. That's it for today's episode. And we'll see you next time on the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business.